Can Zacuto, Tilta, and bright Tangerine and other accessories all play well together on a Sony FX6? I didn't think there was much to add to the FX6 viewfinder mount debate, and yet I could not find the solution I needed from anywhere on the videos that were out there. Each solved a part of my puzzle, and I figured if I had this puzzling situation, you might too. I'm John Harrington, author of the book Best Business Practices for Photographers. And as a journalist covering the chaos of breaking news, with a client in the calm of a closed set, or as a documentary filmmaker capturing a sandhill sunrise, having the tools I use tuned optimally is critical in every situation. I hope this video helps you and inspires you to further perfect your own FX6 customization. And as a quick disclaimer, none of these manufacturers asked me for this video, no money changed hands, no company saw it or reviewed it beforehand, and I paid for all the products myself. There may be some affiliate links in the description, but that's about it. So, here's my criteria. Keeping my Zacuto on my FX6 viewfinder was critical, as this also just works well if you are using the FX9 eyepiece. Having a centered monitor over the front of the camera was also critical. Also critical is rigidity and being able to tighten the equipment so that it doesn't loosen or flop around during use. Nice, but not a requirement, was low profile, ease of stowage, and rapid setup. Here's the reasoning. I want the small monitor, and I find that being able to use it while shooting is key, yet this solution works just as well if you want to remove it. For me, the small monitor is needed when working in bright sunlight, and a hood over the larger monitor isn't sufficient. So this is why the Zacuto is critical. It also allows me to switch to a handheld run and gun shoulder mount and put my eyes to the eyepiece in a standard news photographer situation. With that in mind, I really like the critical focus and ease of framing benefits of this larger monitor up here. For me, I use the Atomos Ninja Flame, which is 7 inches. This is great for that and works great for smaller monitors as well. Probably even better. The centering of the monitor as well as being able to adjust it forward and back and rotate as well is key. You might find that you prefer a smaller or more lightweight one. Of course, I can also record to an SSD on the back of the Ninja as well, if I needed another 4K backup or another low resolution file. Because I needed to mount the quick release through the frame and into the monitor screw mount up here, I used an extended 17mm cam bait screw like this one. I worked through the Zacuto eyepiece and the viewfinder as you can see it here. They also include their monitor mount, which you can see right here. This mount works great to enhance the existing FX setup, but because I wanted a second monitor, the part in the kit that connects the viewfinder to the FX6 rod wasn't of use to me. But I was thinking it was the only way to solve the viewfinder issue with their eyepiece. I also tried other accessories and just nothing met all the criteria. Then, with fingers crossed, I ordered the bright Tangerine mount, even though I have the tilted cage. I love my tilted cage, and I invested in it as it was among the first available when I got my FX6 early. So I didn't want to just discard it. Of course, the bright Tangerine mount would work with their cage, but would it work not just with and around the Zacuto viewfinder, but also with the tilted cage? In short, yes, with one small modification. A quick side note, here are the two setups I run on my FX6. One is here, as you can see with my iCan teleprompter. And here is the other with a PolarPro Basecamp matte box. For the rest of this video, I'll leave the PolarPro on it, but this setup works perfectly with either configuration. Here are two images of it with the teleprompter on a shoot I was doing. With all that explained, let's move on to the monitor mounting situation. Bright Tangerine has a really great monitor mounting solution with a lot of flexibility on stowage and positioning. Here is the Bright Tangerine solution off of the camera. I really like the adjustable NATO rail, as well as this folding NATO rail that allowed not just for significant positioning for the smaller monitor, but also the perfect connection point for the larger monitor. It can also go into a stow position or any top position front to back and lock in place onto the Sony 8T anti-twist point. And if you don't want or need the folding extension, They have this piece, which has the same fitment, but a 15mm rod mount at the front. You can also invert or flip this and mount this rail at the rear of your handle onto the rear Sony 8T anti-twist point if you prefer to mount your smaller monitor on the rear of the handle. The front mount I'm using is incredibly rigid, more so than any other solution I researched. But to take it even a step further, Bright Tangerine also offers a support bar that connects from the NATO rail and down the cage. And this obviously works if your cage is the Bright Tangerine cage system. This support bar increases rigidity and reduces flex in the Sony stock handle. At the bottom of the support bar is a 3/8 screw as well as 2 locking pins, as you can see here. And looking at the top front of the tilt-a-cage right here, it's a 1/4 screw hole and just 1 locking pin hole. So if you remove the outermost locking pin right here and switch the connecting screw from the included 3/8 to your own 1/4, it fits perfectly. A quick screwdriver turn or two and one of the 2 pins easily removes. Now with the most robust Bright Tangerine mount in place, the small monitor, as you can see here, not only fits perfectly, but it also stows very easily. It's right over top of the camera and the handle. It's also adjustable with the monitor back in place, allowing it to slide forward and back, tilt, and lock in place thanks to the adapter here that provides tension and here that allows for adjustments of the monitor up and down, also back and forth. It would also, of course, fit on the articulating NATO rail to add extra reach and height placement for the viewfinder for lower camera positions, or if you wanted to be up and back from your viewfinder while operating. Also, if you're removing the monitor for any reason, it comes apart without any tools required. Now, turning to my larger monitor, I have a cage on the monitor that allows for multiple connecting points and NATO rails all around. I won't go into why I chose this monitor, the cage, or the 90-degree HDMI adapters I use for cable management, as this video is about monitor mounting on the FX6, and you may well have a monitor you prefer. For all of my monitor mounts, I have standardized to these Ulanzi claw mounts because I can rotate them 360 degrees in 4 positions. And they are also fairly low profile for a quick release, especially one that has a locking mechanism. So when I'm on camera, a client is on camera, or a reporter needs to see a feed from the control room, the monitor turns around easily and fits over the top of a teleprompter as well. It works great for reporter eye lines to the camera in the same way a teleprompter does, as you can position it right above the lens easily. To connect the articulating Bright Tangerine NATO rail and the monitor, I went through several different NATO rail mounts from more than one manufacturer and landed on the one that allowed for a true 90-degree connection right here. This one is from Nicey Rig for front mounting in a few positions, and the Ulanzi is mounted on it and centers the system. Because of the ability to slide it, you can even offset the monitor to the right to help balance out the camera if you were using it handheld on a mobile setup. I also cranked down the tension nut about a half a turn due to the weight of my monitor and cage. You may not need to make any adjustments if you are using a lightweight monitor, as the tension is solid out of the box. Further, if you don't need the quick release capability I have here, you can just mount the Nicey Rig piece directly to the monitor of your choice. With all of these parts, the larger monitor can be positioned to many spots and stows atop the camera while still mounted. And I can easily stow the Zacuto still attached, tilting it above the handle, which not only provides protection for it, but it also narrows this camera profile, meaning it can fit into your case without unnecessary added width that might make you want to break it down. Further, with the larger monitor still on the articulating rail, you can stow it as it is here in front of the mat box, and it comes out of the travel case easily, but with the kit fully built. Of course, the monitor can also be quickly removed via either the quick release or the NATO rail connection. With all of this seemingly perfect, I found I needed to address one more need I have. Often, I use the Sony with the wireless lav system, so that sound goes directly into the camera digitally. It's the most compact and does not use the handle's XLR inputs that the monitor can rise up and still be easily visible. Here's how that would look. First, let's get the quick release back on. The monitor back on. And the Zacuto back out and in position. Now, as you can see here, we've got this spot right here where the Sony wireless system would fit. Of course, with that wireless system in place, you may feel like the monitor is being obstructed depending upon the height of the camera. What if you wanted to mount the monitor behind the lav receiver? Well, I keep this newer camera mount in a side pocket of my kit. It's adjustable, swivels, and can work in a place of the NICE rig connector on the front articulating NATO rail. In fact, it was my solution before landing on the NICE rig one, and it works great. But I found it works best on the NATO rail on the top of the handle, as you can see here. It locks in place with the Ulanzi claw receptacle. Now the monitor can come from the front to the rear and swivel and tilt as need be. And because flexibility and adaptability are key, I found one additional solution. This 150mm extension NATO rail from Pro Aim. First, we'll remove the front mount, rotate the articulating arm up and lock it in place. And as you can see here, it slips right past the Sony lavalier receiver and allows the monitor to be mounted right in front of the lavalier receiver and repositioned as you need it to be. With that in place, let's rotate the Zacuto out of the way so you can see a little bit better. And then we can remove the rear mount. So with the newer and the Ulanzi off the NATO rail, you can move this out of position to bring the Zacuto down, lock it in place, tilt this up if we want to. This comes back up, locks in place, and now the monitor fits right there. No problem. You can even further adjust this out and give yourself clearance to bring this further down. So now you've got a really low profile system with both of your monitors accessible here and up here, so you can watch both screens at the same time. Taking this apart for a second. Move this out of the way. I have adapted this mini focus NATO rail mount using a 1/4-20 3/8 adapter as well as the 1/4-20 so that I have two anchor points. And I flip the NATO rail to screw in from the opposite side For the NATO rail receiving side to be on the inside, and it's solid when it's locked down. There is no flopping around. There are several other brands of a similar low profile design, but this one works great for me. Bringing the camera back in, we bring this articulating rail forward. The monitor mount back on. And the Alonzi claw slicks on there using the locking mechanism, and it fits perfectly. It is, for my needs and setup, the perfect way to mount both monitors and make them easily adjustable and removable for a variety of situations. So for my needs specific to my monitors, this is the perfect solution. I've included links to all the items in the description below. I hope you found this useful and perhaps inspired you to modify your own setup. Thanks for watching.